Hello everyone, I wanted to get into this video here. It's a brand new video for you guys. It's a pretty beautiful day. It's a little overcast, but nice relatively speaking here in the Midwest. But we're clicking into this video because A, you didn't pass the MSF course, right? B, you don't want to do the MSF course, or C, you really don't know what the heck the MSF course is, and you're just like, yeah, I just want to take the DMV Riding Test. Right now, the DMV Riding Test differs between different states. So if you're, depending on where you're at, it can vary. So a lot of the DMV tests that people do is using an obstacle within a parking lot that has like obstacle courses. They have like the circles, they do U-turn in the box and this and that. But where I'm at, my local DMV, you do a riding test that's on the street. So it's a little different. There's a lot of factors that you really can't account for, like, other traffic or conditions, like, like rocks on the road or something. There's just a lot of different factors that play. I don't see a lot where it shows you the actual riding test. I'm not going to actually do the riding test. I already have my Class M, but I will show you what it entailed, give you guys some tips and tricks along the way, and hopefully that's enough for you guys. I really hope that this video proves really informative for you guys. Just make sure that, you're practicing. I think the biggest thing for most people is they don't practice it, or when they do practice, because they're on their permit, because that's what it entails. So first what you got to do, before any of that, is you got to take a written version, at least where I'm at. Ours was like a 25 question online, and you get your permit. They're pretty much trick questions. Just make sure you study your local DMV handbook if you're taking it, and then you should be able to get the questions regardless. I read it. I did a once over on our DMV one, and I got it. So get your permit, and then, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to go practice. I'm going to go do this and that. You want to also learn the slow maneuvers, like a U-turn per se. You want to work on your your emergency stopping, like your hard stops. You want to work on parking up a hill. You want to work on moving your bike up a hill, because it takes a little bit more throttle out of the clutch. Again, the riding is important, but the slow stuff is also just as important. It's cool that you can zip around a corner or a curve at 80 miles an hour, cool. But what takes a lot of skill is the slow maneuvers, because you have to work on your clutch control. With that being said, I'm gonna one of the few things out of the bat that I kind of want to get out there is practice. Like, you cannot get enough practice. I put about 1,500 miles of practice on this motorcycle before I even took my riding test. I had about a month and a half of my permit, and depending on your state, I think my state personally is 6 months. You have a permit, you can get an extension later, whatever. It doesn't matter for this video, but I did 1,500 miles of practice, just learning as I went. And let me tell you, the complex that I stay at, like where I live, the apartment complex, the practice that I did around the complex was slow stuff. I was working on U-turns left and right. Like, I can actually show you guys a picture of all the U-turns I was doing right up here. There's a picture. So what's cool about, so just a side topic, this is the CF Moto 450 SS. It comes with a really cool app, the RideSync app, and you can basically track where you've gone. You can see it, and I'm happy that it has that, because I can see all the times that I was practicing around here. And that screenshot I'll show you, it's about, I think it's like an hour, almost an hour, and it's like 10 miles of me riding. It was literally me just riding around this like small little area. Yeah, so I was practicing U-turns, I was practicing uphill stuff, right? I was practicing just slow speed stuff. I'd go around this little loop right here and just work on my clutch control and just figure it out and try to get closer to that circle as I can. I can show you guys a few like riding clips of that, of what I did and how I did it. Alright, so one of the first things I did was, this is kind of on an incline, it's not a crazy incline. What I did was I would signal, and I'd look over to the right, and I'd go over to the right, like this, off to the side. You're gonna park, you're going up here, right? You're gonna stop, like this, and usually what I'd do is you always wanna look. So I'd look here, or I'd pull in like this, see how it's fighting a little bit. It's a little bit of a hill. Then you gotta park uphill like this. So you'd park it like this. And here, the back tire hits. Pretty much you want to park right here to the back tire hits. So if you guys can see that, yeah, right down there, right against the curb, just against it. So you have your first gear, right? Your tires against the curb. You want to turn your handlebars to the left, so it'll lean like this. Because you always want it to lean. You want it to roll toward the curb. You don't want it to be out this way, because then it's gonna roll out and then fall, and then you have a really fun time. So, and then she's gonna tell you, or he, doesn't matter, your instructor, whatever, they're gonna tell you, okay, you're parked, now enter back into traffic. What I do is I look left, and that's going to be a big thing I kind of want to teach you guys too, is on the DMV test, man, they're going to harp on you about the head movement. That's also the thing too, is they're a little more tight, strict on the DMV test. They're more, make sure, you know, or the actual riding test, if you're riding it out, you want to check your head movement. They will watch that. Like a hawk, if you're not checking your head movement, that's why back there when I was showing you how to get to the side, you had to check to your right. Even if you're going out to the right, you're riding forward and you're just pulling off to the side, you have to check for the right. Obviously it's like for pedestrians or for bicycles or something. But you always want to look, anytime you are moving out into something or changing a direction or turning, whatever, it's the head movement. They want to see that head movement. So emphasize the head movement. Don't go too crazy where you're breaking your neck, okay? But you want to, enough where you want to, like, okay, look, I'm looking. What I would do before you'd head off is you would look like this, and as you go, as you're moving the clutch out, you can hear it. The bike's like, ah, you know, it's like giving me some throttle. It's moving, right? It's up a hill. What you want to do is obviously you're going to roll in the throttle a little bit. So as you go, you're going to go left, keep that clutch kind of moving. This is usually when I'm looking left. As I start to feel the clutch go, like that, like it's moving. If you look, I'm going to look that way. You can hear it, and it goes back. As you hear it moving out, you're going to want to start to turn, and then turn your head as well. But you always want to look where you're going. Always. You always want to look where you're going, but you also want to double check and look and keep the head movement rolling, or they will dock you on that. So, as the clutch is moving out like this, I'm looking left, right. I'm not looking right now, but like say I am. You can feel it. The bike wants to go. It's like shaking. It's like, please give me, move. And obviously you can't just let it out, otherwise it will stall. So as you look left, you have the clutch out, and then you're going to roll on the throttle slightly, and you're going to lift whatever leg you have on the ground up, and then look forward and go, and roll on the throttle, get off the clutch. So like this, just like that. I would just work on my clutch control right here, and I'll just work on it. Boom, and you just kind of ride it out, looking forward. Don't look at the other side. You would just ride this. I would lean this thing over. This thing is leaned over. Like I'm sitting upright. My bike is leaned. I am leaning. It's called counter steering. I'm counter steering right now.
Hey guys, what you're actually seeing is called counterbalancing, not counter steering.
I'm fighting it. Keeping that friction zone, keeping that clutch control, keeping that throttle control. Throttle control is huge, so don't look at the ground in front of you. You want to look ahead of you. You want to look where you want to go. And I would just work on that. Boom, boom, boom. In circles, over and over and over. That's what I would do. So I practice my U-turn here. I'd pull off to the right, safely right, and what I would do is I would look forward. You know, you look back, and basically what they're looking for is that you could do a U-turn. And basically what I do over here a million times is I would look. I mean, I do it with my visor up. I'm gonna do it now because it gets a little foggy. So what you're gonna do is, it's like you're gonna want to follow like a process. You're gonna develop a process. So what I like to do first when I'm doing a U-turn, anytime, and it's better, I'm a little rusty U-turns to be honest with you, is I would crank my wheel like this, or my wheel. I'd crank my handlebars like this. So my handlebars are turned the direction I want to go, right? Because you want to turn around. Now again, remember the head movement thing. They're going to want to make sure that you are looking where you're going to go. And if at any point you feel like you're going to fall, drop the bike, or drop it, or whatever, stall, it's okay. Just trust the clutch. You want to trust that friction zone, because as you can tell, boom, I know where it's at. It's right there. Let off the brake, boom, okay. So, what I would do is I would look in front of me, right? I have my hand here. My foot's on the rear brake because I'm on a hill right now, but normally you can just do it flat, with your feet flat on the ground. And you can practice with your foot down first and do it slowly on your own bike, and then slowly progress as you go. But what you do on a U-turn is you want to look forward, and then you're going to go check your back, and you go forward again, and you're going to check back again. That's what I did, and I passed. The DMV was fine, everything was good, and you figured out a U-turn. So this is mainly just clutch control, friction zone, everything like that. This is basically everything is slow speed maneuvering, what a slow speed maneuver requires. So what you're going to do, you have everything right here. You have your clutches in, hands on your throttle right here. Make sure you know where you're at. My glove's starting to fall off a little bit. I'm good to go. My foot is on that rear brake because I'm on a hill. So you're going to look forward, you look back, you look forward again, and as you look back, remember you want to look where you're going to go where you look. So as I let that clutch out, I would let that thing go. So you go here, that way, boom, and you just get used to it. You just do it, and eventually you just get really good at it. Just like that. Like before, I would be all the way on the other side, and I would do that over and over and over and over again. And one thing I was taught, as long as your bike is moving, you're not going to drop it. Now, if you give it too much, you whiskey throttle, as in the middle of it, yeah, you'll drop your bike. But this is why you learn that friction zone. That's why you learn throttle control. U-turns, by all means, are not easy when you're first starting. They are stressful. It's nerve-wracking. And that's why I recommend the MSF course, because you do learn a lot. I'm not sponsored by any of the foundations or anything like that. I just recommend it because it's good practice. Even if you don't pass, you still learn so many different things. You learn so much. You absorb all of it. Take the whole thing. Take the test. Even if you did fail it or you think you're going to fail it, just follow through. You're going to keep learning more. And get your money's worth. Okay? It's not cheap, to be honest with you. So no one's behind me, so we're safe. So an E-stop, again, remember to punch in your brakes. Not hard, not light, enough to stop the bike, not enough to drop it, skid out the rear tire, or dump the bike, because you want to make sure you're straight. You're going to make sure that your handlebars are straight when you're doing this. So I'm going to straighten out. There's no cars coming. I'm going to straighten out. On the riding test, they're going to get you about 16 miles an hour, 17. And then right when you get there, you're really just going to pull, punch, clutch, rear brake, front brake. And then you're going to go here, and then stop. Just like that. Boom. Just like that. Very easy. It's nerve-wracking because, you're kind of just slamming the brakes down on a bike. It's very easy to do. If your handlebars on the right side here are turned and you jab that front brake, you're going down because you're basically stopping the tire. You're basically stopping the tire. I got my camera down here. You're stopping the tire mid-turn. There's all that weight's going to go forward. There's nowhere to transfer all that energy. It's just going to boom, because your rear tire is going to want to keep going. Your front brake stopped. It's not going to be fun. So pros of taking the riding test is you get to take your own bike. So you get comfortable on your own bike, and you're good to go. It feels good, and it's awesome. The con, you also take your own bike. You take your own bike, so if you drop it, it's your own bike. As you're working on it, as you're practicing, if you drop it, it is your own bike. Another pro is, what I like about it is long-term, is it's actually like a riding application. So when you're practicing on your permit, you are actually riding on the street. Like you're seeing factors of traffic that you don't get in the MSF course. The con is you're riding the street. There's a lot of other factors that are a little dangerous, so that's why you gotta start slow. When I first started with my permit, I was working up to that. I was working myself slowly. I would work on friction zone in my garage, back and forth, just trying to figure out where the friction zone was. Did it a few times, parked it, and then the next day I'd do it again, or 3 hours later I'd do it again, whatever. I would practice. It all started from the clutch, just working on my friction zone. Where is my friction zone? Where is it? Okay, it's right here. Cool. And then letting it out, giving it a little bit, right? And then slowly working up to that. Slowly giving it that dance you have to do between the clutch and the throttle. And then eventually, my first ride, I had someone in a car behind me that was following me, and it was more so like a buffer, so I wasn't really worried about what was behind me, because I knew the person that was behind me was paying attention to me. So it kind of got rid of that. So it kind of eases, so you can work on your stops. You can work on, okay, how does the rear brake feel? Oh, okay, don't jab it. Oh, how does the front brake go? Okay, oh, don't jab it, whatever. And I started slow, and I worked my way up. And eventually I was just riding normally on the street, and I would just practice normal stuff, and eventually got to me really working on the slow speed maneuvers out here. So everyone wants to do a frickin' wheelie. Not everyone can master a U-turn. That's just a few things that I would practice. Again, the big thing is the head movement. Riding test, not easy, but it's also not difficult if you practice. You gotta practice the right things. Get rid of those bad habits. Like I have a horrible habit of lifting my hand up while I'm riding. We're gonna go fill up. We're gonna head to my DMV. I'm gonna cut the camera out because I need to save some battery. And then, yeah, I will catch you guys over there. It'll be really quick. Alright guys, so we made it to the DMV. You put a nice little spot that says motorcycle parking only. Basically what you do is I recommend doing it in the morning. So you want to come, I came geared up with my boots, I had my pants on, I had a hoodie on like I do now. Obviously, you need to bring a helmet. You need gloves. Obviously, you need a bike that works. They're gonna look at the bike really quick. I think what she did was she just looked at the bike. She just kind of did like a walk around. She was really nice. She kind of walked with me. She was really friendly. Just so if anyone's getting nervous about it, like they're usually pretty friendly. Usually, right? You stop here. You can go inside. You say, "Hey, I'm here for the riding test." They'll meet you out there. You wait here, and it's probably the longest 5 minutes I ever experienced. And I was so nervous. I was like shaking in my boots. She came out. And she had you have like a high-vis vest. She gave me like a cell phone with these wired headphones, so I had to like wire that through everything. And then she calls you on that phone, and obviously the viz is so that she can see you. You know, if she loses you or something, or she makes sure she's got the right person. So you have both of those on, and she'll basically give you a rundown. Okay, we're gonna get this test started. And this is why I said you might want to back into your spot, because then you can just head out, because it's not gonna be this empty. The DMV is closed today. It's a Saturday. It's beautiful. No one's at the DMV except me. There'll be cars parked everywhere. People are doing driving tests on the side here. Maybe you have another guy here waiting and you come back for his riding test. It's easier to just pull out this way and navigate traffic that way, as opposed to backing out and having to really watch that head movement and going out, because then you gotta wait for her to get out of her car, because she'll be in a car behind you. So you want to make sure you have good gear. You want to have a bike that's in working order, pretty much. You want to make sure it's up to par. It's ready to go. Get there early. I recommend getting there early. That way you can kind of get the nerves out of the way, and that way you don't miss your test either. Because that'd be a shame if you practice all that, just have to reschedule your test. The one thing I was most nervous about, I think the U-turn was the biggest one I was nervous about, to be honest with you, and the head movement, and the fact that it was a riding test, so it took some time. I think part of the practice too is you get to know your bike a little bit too. You start to understand your bike, how it works, and I think that's the best kind of opportunity here, like, is to use your bike and learn your bike and get used to it and really learn it. And figure out everything. How does it brake? How does it do this? How does it feel? What's the weight? All that type of stuff. So I'm gonna look at the ride sync app. I'm gonna look, kind of see where it generally was, and then we're gonna kind of get riding. I'll show you, talk as I go, and then we'll close it up. So stay tuned. And then you hop on it. So she'll say, okay, get on. You have your earpiece in. You have your phone, whatever they're using. You got your gear. Everything's ready to go. Helmet's on. They're gonna tell you pretty much to start your test. So they're gonna be behind a car over there. I think they were over here, right in front of me. And basically, you just throw a leg over, and you start your test pretty much from here. They show everything. Like, they really cover everything. They do. I'm telling you. The biggest thing for this test is your head movement. And I know earlier I was saying counter steer when you're going slow. It's not counter steering. You're counterbalancing. You're not counter steering. Counterbalance when you're going slow. Counter steer when you're going fast. Here we are. Okay, cool. You're calm, collected. Breathe. Relax. Chill. Kickstand up, everything's good to go. I'm in first gear. I'm gonna put my clutch in. I'm gonna start the bike. Okay, so she'll be right there, or he. And everything matters. So you're gonna check your head. You're gonna watch. You're gonna turn your head, even if you're not actually looking. Turn your damn head. Make it look like you're looking, but actually look, because it's important. So she'll sit there, give you like a thumbs up or whatever. Usually that's at least what I did. So I put my visor down. I didn't have a GoPro at the time. I should have got the GoPro. It would have been really cool. So yeah, basically she'll be watching you the entire time. And another trick, real quick before I head out, is what she'll do is they're gonna flash their brights at you at one point, and you can kind of get like a bonus point from that. They're gonna flash their brights at you, and you just gotta acknowledge it. Put a thumbs up, or like, don't look behind you while you're driving forward. Okay, just make something cool, like, hey, I saw that, because they're gonna look for it. They're gonna flash their light. And that's you paying attention to what's behind you. It's kind of like a bonus thing. They're not gonna knock it on you. At least in my state, they're not gonna fail the test if you don't see the flash. It's more of like a bonus thing. It's very nostalgic being back here. Actually, it's really funny. Almost a year ago. So, and don't worry, I always stress out about it. Okay, but you just have to trust yourself and you have to practice. So, boom, test started. Visor down. She gives you the thumbs up. We're gonna start moving because my fan's going. We're going to go forward. Obviously, you're going to just ride like normal. Look where you want to go. Look where you want to go. Always look where you want to go in this test. Check these intersections. There'll be cars here. Go like this. Real quick look. And she had me take a right up here. Okay, there's no stop sign, so I didn't have to stop. But you look left, and then boom, go. A little bit of bump there. Anyways. We're going to ride. Just like normal. Don't do anything stupid. Don't take your hand off the handle. That handle like this. Don't do this. The bad habit that I developed because I got a little too comfortable on the motorcycle. So you'll be riding, and this is where my instructor was right up here. It was like right when I hit this nice patch of road. Or once I hit this nice patch of road, kind of nice. It's Midwest, so it's relatively speaking. she flashed her brights at me. And it's a simple acknowledge. Just one time, I think, waited for this bump, and I just went like this. I just waved my hand, hey, I saw it, and that was it. Put my hand back down. And she's on the phone, she's okay, up here, take a right. So, I took a right. Doggy. Hello, dog. Thank you. So you want to look. Sorry, that guy was being nice. I didn't want to be rude. He's waving me through. Being a nice guy. Alright, so then she's riding over here. So, now we're just chilling. Now we're chilling. You're going to have both your hands. Don't do what I just did. Have both your hands here. Both your hands on the handlebars. We're chilling. We are cooling. Don't weave in around. Follow the speed limit, obviously. It's only stressful if you picked up bad habits as you went along, or if you didn't practice, because you're gonna miss a lot if you didn't practice. That's the biggest thing. I know I sound like an old, just annoying at this point, but practice. Yes, practice. Right over the manual. Boom. Practice everything. And I want to say I took a right up here, maybe. It's right here. So take a right. Use your signal. Use your whatever. So it was riding, you went past the first turn, you're going here. Okay, so obviously look when you're turning, don't do that, you want to look. Look. It's going to be really annoying saying that. She said take a left up here. Right up here, she said, okay, do your U-turn. So when you're doing your U-turn, okay, when you go off to the right, look right, like this, signal, get over. Just like that, and you're going to brake. You're going to stop. Make sure when you stop, your foot does not hang down as you're stopping. So then she said, okay, now you're going to do a U-turn. I was like, okay, sick. We're going to go do a U-turn. It was like the first thing. The thing I was stressed out about the most. So if you're going to do a U-turn, so just like I said, we're going to signal left. We're going to move out. Signal left. Have my visor down. My handlebars are turned. Okay, I'm gonna have my foot up on the rear brake. I mean, you don't have to, but I like to have at least one foot up when I'm doing this. You don't need to switch a gear, so I just want to have it on the gear stick. And you're gonna look forward. You're gonna look back. You're gonna look forward again. And as you look backward, you're gonna go. You're gonna lift that foot up, just like this. Just like this. Boom, just like that. That was raw, unedited footage. Did not have to do that twice. So, cool. So then she says, okay, take a right. Stop at the line. Stop at the damn line. Boom. Don't go past the line. You can inch forward and look, and then take your right turn. Look. And then you're going to go over here. And she said, alright, now take a right up here. Signal. Look through your turn. And she said, okay, now we're going to get up to 18, whatever, I think she said 18 miles an hour, and brake hard, or do your E-stop. You're going to stop when I say, and you're, okay, cool. So then she's like, and stop. And you're going to punch the shit. Boom, just like that. No one's behind me, so we're good. You're going to do that, and you're going to go forward, and you're okay, resume. You don't have to do it when you stop, you don't have to look both ways, obviously. There's a lot of cars up here, but now she wants to see you stop at a four-way stop. Usually they do that, just so you can acknowledge, boom, you're stopped, you're looking, look both ways. Look both ways. I cannot emphasize enough. Boom, boom. Even if it's an all-way stop. Look, release, and then go. Boom, just like that. And then this is where she'll have you do the park uphill thing. I won't do it because all these cars here. But basically, what you do is you park uphill. You put it against the wheel. You want to make sure you look right, and then you're gonna, signal, look right. Oh, we'll do it here. So signal, look right. Even if you know you're good, look. And we're gonna stop. Like this, and then she's going to ask you to park the bike. You're going to back the tire up against it, just like we did in the earlier section of the video. Turn it. So I look, boom, we're looking backwards. Look, check behind you, like that. Both ways. This is exactly what I did. Up against the curb, you're going to fall back, like that. And you're turning your thing like this. And then beyond the phone, I think I just said, yeah, now I'd have my kickstand down. The bike would come off, kickstand down, I'm in first gear, whatever. And she's like, okay, good. Okay, good, okay, now get out of it. So now, this is obviously, you saw me kind of hit the curb. It was kind of rough. There's a little bit of an incline. It's kind of showing you the clutch control on an incline. So remember, you're going to straighten yourself out, straighten it out. I usually like to signal that I'm coming out, so I'll look this way. And as you come out, you want to make sure you give yourself enough clutch and give yourself enough throttle. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere. So you turn your signal on. I usually have a foot up already, and I look, and then go. And go forward as you're going. See? Just like that. Take a right up here. So now we're going to take a right up here. Stop at the line. Not past it. And then she said, okay, take a right. So we're going to take a right now. Watch that pothole. So you're going to get up to speed. She's going to be behind you. Now she's going to say, okay, do a lane change. Get in the left lane. So you're going to signal, boom, and then turn your head. Look forward, move your lane. Signal off. Without changing your speed, without speeding up, whatever. And then she's going to say, okay, great. Now get back in the right lane. Same thing. You're going to signal right, look forward, move. And then signal off. She's looking for that head movement. Anytime she tells you to move, if you're pulling off to the right, you're going left, you're changing lanes, whatever. Move that head, because there's horror stories or stories on Reddit, all this and that, of people messing it up. You're supposed to take it right there. We'll turn around and look. So yeah. That is the most important part, is the head movement. Using your signal, head movement, blah, 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 blah. And this person does not see me. That's great. Come on. You know, oh, are they going to check my shifting and this and that? Obviously it's important. If you stall, obviously, okay, that's a problem if you stall. If you've been practicing, you would not stall. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to stall again. I've known people that have been riding since they were kids, and I rode with them, and they haven't stalled in like 10 years. Or they haven't stalled in 20 years, and they stalled. It happens. It's going to happen. You're going to stall, you know. You just want to make sure you don't do it on this test. You want to be sharp, get some good rest, everything like that before you take the actual test. You know, so we were riding back. We took that right hand back there that I kind of had to take it left because I missed it. Basically, you're going to ride this all the way down. And at any point in the test, they can kind of flash their lights at you. Just keep that in mind. It's not just in the beginning. They can do it at the end. They can do it in the middle. At any point they can. It's getting you to look at your mirrors to pay attention to what's behind you, because that's important. Especially when you get to intersections. That is extremely important. So you're up here. And now it doesn't matter if you pull in normally. You can, because you're done. You finished your test. So pull into the parking spot. Just like this. Do. And you stop. And I usually run my front tire on the thing. Usually. Just out of habit. Boop. See? And then turn my bike off. One like this. Boom. Bam. Bop. Little trip down memory lane. Test was done. Right, so I stood off. And I was shaking in my boots still. And she parked. And I was like, alright, cool. And she said, okay, you can give me the phone or whatever. You can give me the phone, the headphones, blah, 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 blah. So I took that off. I walked up, her kind of standing like right on my bike. Oh, no, we were up here. So she said, come up here. She took, I think she opened up the paper. She showed me the scores. You did really good here, 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 here. Everything was good. She said everything was, like, perfect. Flying colors, you passed. And I was like, I remember I stopped right here. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I was like, fuck yeah. And she was just like, she just started cracking up. Like, she cracked up. She was laughing. She's like, that was the best reaction I've ever seen. Not too difficult of a test if you know what to practice. You're not here to practice wheelies, okay? Cool. You have your little 600. You have a little Ninja. You're doing wheelies. You're cool. Whatever. That's awesome. They're not gonna do wheelies on this test. Doesn't matter. I can't do wheelies, so I can't really say anything. But they're not looking for wheelies. They're not looking for whatever. They're looking for you to practice these slow maneuvers in real application. That's what I like about it. It was stressful, but as I look back, I'm really happy that I did it that way, because it's real world application. It's not in an obstacle course on a parking lot. You know, because you take your permit, and you can technically just, next day, you can do the actual test. You could have not done any riding, and you're just doing your obstacle course, and then you pass. Obviously, you need some practice there, too. And then you're done. And then you get on a bike, and you're on the real street. Like, no, I like here, or at least the state I'm in, where we did U-turns in a neighborhood. We rode. We did lane changes on actual road. We went over train tracks. Like, there's real world application there. There was someone driving really slow in front of me. There's so many different things that like you can't factor in an MSF course or like an obstacle style course like a normal riding test, or at least most of them that I've seen. So I will say the riding test is stressful, but it is so beneficial. You get so many benefits out of it. So obviously the big thing is don't stress it. Don't stress out too much. You know, you want to stress it enough where you care, because once you start riding and you get a little more comfortable, obviously I say I'm a year into riding, you get more comfortable, you start to kind of dial back a bit, and you're not paying as much attention to what you should be paying attention to. And I think that's the more dangerous part. The dangerous part isn't having someone who's 2 months in, into their license riding. They're still nervous. They're still paying like 200% attention. The problem is when you start to get comfortable in like that year to like 2 year phase, or 6 months to 2 year phase, where it almost becomes like, you get like too comfortable. You're not paying attention to things that you normally would pay attention to. And that's where the danger comes into. So when you do pass and everything like that, don't think it's over. There's still so much to learn. Again, I do have that track day coming up on the 23rd that I do want to share with you guys. Hoping I don't dump the bike, so don't want to speak that into existence. But
hey guys, it looks like my GoPro cut out before I could really wrap up the video. So this is me wrapping it up now. I just finished editing it, and it's a really good video. I think my editing is starting to get a little more honed down, as well as my voice. I don't know if you could hear it, but I have an actual mic now that I have in my helmet, and I also am using a different mic now for my voiceovers, in the occasion that my GoPro cuts out or I don't have the audio from the video. But other than that, this was a really fun video to make. I really like kind of reminiscing on my past and where I kind of came from too. So I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did. It was fun. I love doing this type of stuff. And if you guys liked it, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you want some more. Obviously, I'm going to keep making content, and just keep it flowing for you guys. It's going to be an awesome summer. Again, as I mentioned before, I have that track day that I'm looking forward to on the 23rd, and I think that you guys will also enjoy it too, seeing a beginner, novice kind of guy go after it. So yeah, that's all I really got for you guys. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week, and I'll keep posting, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.